The dead girl's phone ordered food at midnight. Police say she died at 9 p.m. Then who ordered food from her phone at 11:47? That single question shook an entire town. It tripped up investigators. It broke a family. And it ultimately cracked open one of the most disturbing cases this decade.
Still no alibi for David
My name
Lee.
doesn't matter. What matters is this story and the truth buried inside it. Let's go back to the beginning. Her name was Mara Calloway, 26 years old, lived alone in a second-floor apartment on the east side of Denton, a quiet, mid-sized city where not much usually happens. She worked remotely as a graphic designer, spent her evenings watching cooking videos, and ordered food delivery at least 4 times a week.
Stir the sauce until it
Her neighbors
thickens.
described her as friendly
Now
but
add your
private,
fresh herbs.
the kind of person
Mix
who
them
waves
all
in the
together.
hallway but never knocks on your door. On the night of October 14th, Mara did not show up to a video call with her older sister, Dana. That alone wasn't alarming. Mara sometimes forgot calls, sometimes
there?
fell asleep early.
I see you now.
Dana sent a few texts, got no reply. She assumed Mara was tired and went to bed. The next morning, when the texts still had no response and the calls went straight to voicemail, Dana contacted the building
Where
manager.
are you?
He knocked. No answer. He used his master key. Mara was found on her couch, fully dressed, TV still on. A half-empty glass of water on the coffee table beside her. No signs of a struggle, no obvious trauma. The medical examiner would later estimate time of death between 8:30 and 9:30 p.m. on October 14th. She was gone before the night really even started. Here is where things stop making sense. Mara's phone showed activity after her estimated time of death. At 11:47 p.m., more than 2 hours after she was likely already dead, her food delivery app registered an order. A full meal, burger, fries, a large soda, delivered to her home address, paid for with her saved card. The delivery driver confirmed he left the bag outside her door. No one answered the buzzer. He assumed she was asleep and left. The order sat outside her apartment until the next morning when her body was discovered. Investigators stared at that timestamp, 11:47 p.m. She was gone. Her phone was not. The first theory was simple. The time of death estimate was wrong. Maybe Mara didn't die at 9 p.m. Maybe she ordered food, ate, or at least attempted to eat, and died later. Medical examiners will tell you that time of death is not an exact science. Body temperature, room temperature, the position of the body, all of these affect the estimate.
It's wrong.
How can
Could
you
she
be
have
sure?
still been alive
The
at
data was solid.
11:47?
Was it?
It was
The circulatory
possible,
system transports
barely.
blood throughout the body. Arteries carry
But there were
oxygenated
problems
blood
with
to
that
the heart.
theory.
Veins return
The glass of
deoxygenated blood.
water on the coffee table had her fingerprints, and only her fingerprints. But the position of her hand when found was inconsistent with someone who had been active 2 hours before discovery. The TV had been on a channel she never watched, according to her watch history. Her phone showed the order placed, but no other activity around that time. No texts, no scrolling, no app usage beyond that single order. One order, placed in under 30 seconds, then nothing. That pattern does not match a living, breathing person settling in for the night. It matches something else entirely.
The connections are here.
Investigators pulled the
This
full phone
question mark
logs.
ties it all together.
What they found was unusual. Mara's phone had received a software update notification at 10:12 p.m., after her estimated death. Her location services had pinged twice, once at 10:45 and once at 11:30, both times placing the device inside her apartment. Those pings were automatic, not user-triggered. But the food order, that was user-triggered. Someone opened the app, someone navigated to a previous order, someone tapped reorder, someone confirmed the address and the payment. That takes multiple steps, multiple taps, a human hand. The question investigators could no longer avoid. Whose hand? Let's talk about who had access.
Connections are here.
Mara lived alone.
This question
She had a
mark ties it
deadbolt
all
and a
together.
chain lock. The building manager's master key could open the deadbolt, but not the chain. When her body was discovered, the chain was not engaged. Only the deadbolt was locked from the inside, suggesting no one had broken in or out through the front door. Her windows, second floor. One was slightly open in the bedroom, enough for airflow, not enough for a person. The building had a basic security camera in the lobby that captured arrivals and exits. Investigators reviewed the footage. Between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. on the night in question, 3 people entered the building. A man from the third floor coming home from work at 8:22, a woman from the ground floor returning at 9:45, and the food delivery driver at 12:04 a.m. who buzzed, waited, and left. No one unaccounted for,
Still
no one
alibi for
suspicious,
Emily Davis.
no one who should
Let's
not have
check
been
her
there.
connections.
Which meant one of two things.
One of these unknowns has to break.
Either someone entered through a route not covered by the camera,
Or no one entered at all. And if no one entered, if Mara was truly alone, then who placed that order? Digital forensics went deeper. The food
Threat
delivery
patterns
app
confirmed,
account was
initiating
Mara's.
trace.
Her login credentials, her saved address, her payment method. The order was placed from her device,
connection looks
confirmed by the
anomalous.
device ID embedded in
Let's
the
check
app's session
authentication
data.
logs. No matches.
No remote access was detected. No third-party app had been granted permissions to the delivery app. No automation tool, no scheduled order, no recurring purchase set up in advance. The app did not support recurring orders of that kind. Every order required real-time manual input at the moment of placement. At 11:47 p.m., someone physically held Mara's phone and placed an order. The phone was found next to her body the next morning. It had not been taken. It had not been wiped. Whoever used it left it exactly where it was.
let me tell you about a man named Curtis Bale. Curtis was Mara's ex-boyfriend. They had dated for about a year and a half, ended things 6 months before her death. By all accounts, it was not a clean breakup. Mara had told her sister that Curtis had trouble accepting it was over. He showed up at her workplace twice. He sent long messages that went unanswered. Nothing that crossed a legal line, but enough that Mara had mentioned feeling uneasy. Curtis lived 12 minutes from Mara's apartment. On the night of October 14th, Curtis told police he was home alone. No alibi. His phone location data showed his device at his own home address all evening. But investigators noted that location data proves where a phone is, not necessarily where a person is. He was brought in for questioning. He denied everything. He was emotional. He said he loved her. He said he would never hurt her. He was not arrested. Not yet. The forensic team made a discovery that changed everything. Inside Mara's apartment, on the kitchen counter, tucked behind a fruit bowl, was a small Bluetooth device. The kind used to extend wireless range. Inexpensive, common, available online for under $20. It did not belong to Mara. It had been placed there deliberately. And it had been connected, briefly, to a network that was not Mara's home Wi-Fi. An external network. A mobile hotspot. Someone had planted a device in her apartment. Someone with physical access. Someone who had been inside before the night she died. Here is the part that keeps people up at night. Mara's phone had a feature, common on modern smartphones, often overlooked, called behavioral automation. A machine learning layer that, under specific conditions, can trigger repeated actions based on past behavior. Most users never enable it. Most users don't even know it exists. Mara had it enabled, and Mara, who ordered from the same restaurant almost every Friday night, had built up enough behavioral data that the system, under certain conditions, like the phone being plugged in, the time matching a historical pattern, a specific Wi-Fi network being active, could auto-initiate a reorder. October 14th was a Friday. Her phone was plugged into the charger beside the couch. Her home Wi-Fi was active. The time matched her historical ordering window almost exactly. The system, in its blind, mechanical way, did what it had learned to do. It placed the order. Not because Mara was alive, not because someone broke in and used her phone, but because a piece of software, trained on her habits, carried out her routine after she was gone. The ghost in the machine. That is what the lead investigator called it in his report. Her digital behavior outlived her physical one. Her patterns, her preferences, her Friday night rituals, all of it encoded into an app that did not know she was dead. The food sat outside her door all night, a burger, fries, a soda, ordered by a woman who could no longer eat it, delivered to an apartment where the only thing waiting was silence. But the story does not end there, because the Bluetooth device on the kitchen counter was real, and it had not planted itself. Curtis Bale, when confronted with forensic evidence, a signal connected to a mobile hotspot registered to a prepaid SIM card purchased at a store 2 miles from his home, broke. He had not killed Mara. The medical examiner's final ruling was cardiac arrhythmia, a sudden, undetected heart condition. She died quickly, without warning, without pain. No foul play, no violence. But Curtis had been in her apartment, not on the night she died. He had a key, a copy he never returned after the breakup, one Mara did not know he still had. He had let himself in weeks earlier, while she was out. He had planted the Bluetooth device. He intended to use it to monitor her network activity, to see who she was talking to, who she was seeing after him. It was surveillance. It was stalking. It was deeply, profoundly wrong. He was arrested and charged with criminal stalking and unlawful surveillance. He sat in a courtroom and wept. He said he just wanted to understand why she stopped loving him. The judge showed him very little sympathy. Mara Calloway died of a heart condition no one knew she had. She was 26. She had no symptoms. She had no warning. She was sitting on her couch, watching television, and her heart simply stopped. Her phone, trained to know her better than most people did, kept going for a little while. It placed her order. It followed her routine. It did what she always did on Friday nights, because it did not know how to do anything else. The delivery driver left the bag outside and drove away. He told reporters later that he thought about that delivery for a long time. He said it was the saddest thing he had ever been a part of, even though he did not know it at the time. There is something in this story that sits with you. We pour so much of ourselves into our devices, our routines, our preferences, our patterns. We teach them who we are, what we want, when we want it. And they learn, they remember, they carry it forward. Mara is gone, but for one night her phone carried her Friday routine into a world that did not yet know she had left it. The food sat outside her door, and the city moved on as cities do, never knowing that a ghost had just ordered dinner. If you made it this far, you already know this story is not really about a phone. It is about how much of ourselves we leave behind, embedded in the systems we touch every day. It is about the strange, cold persistence of data in the face of death, and it is about how a man's obsession with a woman who chose to move on led him to plant surveillance equipment in her home. The phone ordered food because of math and machine learning. Curtis Bale went to prison because of choices and cruelty. And Mara Calloway lives in the memory of everyone who knew her, and now, in this story, in yours. Rest easy, Mara. Someone finally told it right.